Hello and welcome to another episode of This is Rico, trying to heal my inner child. I would like to start this video by saying that I am not a doctor, I am not a therapist or medical professional in any way. I am just a guy trying to navigate through life and trying to navigate what's going on in here. So, I just wanted to get back to the topic of my high school years. During this time, I was becoming more confident. I was becoming confident physically. Like I was starting to exercise. I was becoming stronger. I was feeling better, a little bit better about myself, a little bit physically at least. And everything was changing around us. It was everybody was growing up and looking like adults, and I just had the hardest time relating to anybody because I don't, and I still have a hard time relating with adults. I still do. I still feel like a kid, which is makes me think about when I was young and my parents made me work and made me go to work and be a little grown up. But when I was older, they treated me like I was a dumb kid. Even when I was married and moved out, they would talk to me like I was just so dumb. And I feel like, and it's my theory, but the more information they kept from me, the more useful they stayed. So later on in life, they could still kind of be the you know, head of the family, the patriarchs, and still talk to me like they're teaching me something. I don't know when I'm in my 30s. I don't know. It's a bit late. But, they kind of kept all that stuff from me when I was young. Stuff they could have taught me, like a bank account, instead of, keeping my money in a mattress, which is, I'm going to do a whole episode on money. And I might do that one next because it's kind of heavy on my brain right now. But everywhere we went, everything I did, I just felt like a kid tagging along, tagging along with my mom or with my older sister. Family parties. I just felt so out of place. I just felt like a kid in a room full of adults, and they're all talking like the adults in the Peanuts cartoons. That's all I heard. It was white noise, and looking back, I think that's why I kind of would like look for the babies or the dog or the cat or something small that I could just go and I'm gonna go play with this tiny creature, whatever it is. Because I don't know, I just did not connect with anybody at all. All the men were just macho men, gonna drink their beer and they're gonna puff out their chest and they're gonna talk about how tough they are. And they're gonna talk about how much they hate women, but not using those words, but they would, you could tell their jokes were not really funny. And yeah, it was hard to be a feel like a part of anything when you don't even relate to anybody. I didn't feel like any of it. And that was a strange feeling. Even when I'm 18 years old and I'm in a room full of people my own age, I felt like a kid in the room. It was just things just turned around. I was younger and I was expected to be an adult, and then as I became an adult, they treated me like I was a dumb kid, and they treated me like I should know better. I should know better without teaching me anything, and that was a constant thing too. Was letting me get in trouble and then scolding me afterwards instead of just teaching me not to do that in the first place. I was kind of on my own in that regards. So I'm going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with some more. This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. Welcome back to This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. I was on the topic of my high school years, more specifically, my time at home, talking about everybody growing up. And, this time I was driving so I could at least get away and see my friends. I had a group of friends that, I still tried to stay out of under the radar with everybody with at high school and at home as much as I could. But, it was nice to have a handful of friends that I could at least hang out with. But my mom was very, I don't want to say controlling, but she was very, very inquisitive. Always asking who, what, when, where, and why. Where are you going? Who's going to be there? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? And it got to the point where she kind of rearranged the room so that the couch was facing the window so she could watch what direction I was coming home from. If I was coming home from 73rd or if I was coming home from 30. And then would ask, why are you coming home from that direction? Why are you coming from there? Where were you? Where'd you go? What were you doing? Why? Every time. Not to mention, my dad slept on the floor. He slept on the floor for as long as I can remember. He claimed it was better for his back. Sleeping on the floor on a hardwood floor was comfortable to him for some reason. And he would sleep right in front of the couch, which was right next to the door, so that no matter what time we came home, he would wake up and be inconvenienced by being woken up. And that was every time. Every time, no matter what time we came home, he was right there sleeping on the floor. Wake up the old man. He's going to be mad. He's going to yell. And he did. And, home was the safe place for them. The safe place. Safe place. That's why they wanted us to stay home. And I think they wanted us to be safe, but they also kind of just wanted to control what we were doing. Stay home. Stay home. Nothing will happen if you stay home. But I wanted to get out. I wanted to experience things. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to meet as many people as I could. I wanted to do as many things as I could. I just wanted to get away. I wanted to get out and see things, do things, experience things. And, I think that's part of where my dad's, and again, this is all my own theories, but I think he was jealous because I was young and I was able to go out and do these things. And not that he couldn't, but, he just couldn't. He was all about his work, and then we'd come home, he'd drink his beer, and that was it. That was all he did. And I think he wanted me to do that too. He always wanted me to just kind of be either at his level or just beneath him. Not that he was at a low level or anything, but he just wanted me to be below wherever he was. And that was very unnerving for being, in your later teens, when your mom is watching you like a spy and your dad is just inconvenienced by every little thing you do. Every time I'd leave, they would give me the lecture, or I'm sorry, the questioning. Where are you going? What are you doing? What time are you going to be home? And it was, some people are nosy. This was just downright tell me what you're doing and why, otherwise we're going to tell you no. And then I would figure out ways to get out anyway. But I just wanted to get away. I wanted to get away. I got tired of that. I got tired of being questioned every little thing I did. So I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be back really quickly with some more of this episode of This is Rico, trying to heal my inner child. Welcome back to This is Rico, trying to heal my inner child. Getting back to the high school years, I was just talking about how I wanted to get out. I wanted to get away from my parents. So having a group of friends helped. And despite despite my parents stripping away all of my confidence and self-esteem as much as they could, as often as they could, I still learned how to talk to people. I learned how to talk to women, uh, you know, on my own, but I at least was able to engage in some sort of conversation. My only example for my only role model was my dad, and all he talked about was women belonged in the kitchen and barefoot and pregnant and that kind of thing. He was the macho man, he worked and made the money and paid for everything. And she stayed home and did all the housework. And that was their dynamic, which it works for them. It works for them. I'm not knocking anybody's mode of operation, you know. But I didn't really care for his views on women. A lot of my character, I believe, myself, is based on not wanting to be like a lot of the male role models in my life. A lot of the men in my life growing up and even throughout my entire life, not all. I've met some really cool men that were really cool, but most of them are just shit. Most of them are just garbage people. And then again, I'm only talking about people I've known personally. I've just known people to just be they tell you they're one thing and then their actions show you something else. And I think I've always been able to see through those words and really be able to tell by people's actions. And not everybody listens, not everybody sees it, but that's just how it is and that's how it goes. Now, I want to touch down on a on a time we had a party at my parents' house. They never really let us have parties. They used to have big parties when we were little, and then they kind of stopped doing it. But they both went to Mexico one year. My mom would go by herself all the time, and my dad would stay home because he didn't trust anyone with his house, his property, his stuff all came first. And one year he decided to go. So we had a party, and it was a big, big party. Like everybody showed up. So we're all having a good time. Everybody's hanging out, and I see two guys getting a little scuffle. So we break it up. I swear now, 5 seconds later, two different guys get in a scuffle. So we break that up. I was in the middle of saying, literally, I was saying, if there's one more scuffle, I'm kicking everyone out. And before I could even finish saying that, there was one more. So I said, all right, that's it. Everybody out. And we kicked everybody out. They all walked out single file. They went really slow and begrudgingly, but we said, get out. You guys can't get along. Everyone's got to get out. And what's funny about that is that maybe 5 minutes after that, the cops showed up. And at the end of the driveway, but they were parked on the street, was my brother's friend and his girlfriend at the time were fighting in the car. And the cop pulled up to them. But when he checked out my dad's house, everybody was gone. All the cars were gone. Lights were off. We were watching through the curtains. So I'm kind of glad these big dumb goons got in fights and made me kick them out. Otherwise, we all would have gotten busted. So thanks for being dummies. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be right back to conclude this video of This is Rico. Welcome back to This is Rico, trying to heal my inner child. I am still on the topic of high school years, but more specifically my home life. Um, I was talking, I was talking about how we had a party at my dad's, and during those times, as soon as I could drive, we would go to all kinds of parties, but like parties in a cornfield, or a party in a trailer, or party in someone's backyard. We hung out with all the hoodlums and all the stoners and all the drunks, and they were like the coolest people around. They I felt like they just kind of accepted you for who you are, whatever. We're all here to have a good time and have a drink and relax. So that was encouraging. Just, that there were some people out there that were not like total jerks. I mean, we still dealt with jerks at parties, but it is what it is. And it was nice to go out. My parents would try to be strict, and they would try to ground me if I would stay out late. And I still would just do what I wanted. If I would just leave when I felt like it, or go out when I felt like it. Um, I see that that was really the time when my disdain for authority was really starting to shine. Like, I just had an attitude like, you're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to tell me. My dad told me all kinds of stories about him crossing the border and sleeping on rocks and doing stuff like that. But then when I was growing up, he kept telling me, don't take any chances. No, I'm going to take chances if I want to. Not all chances are gonna work, but you don't know unless you try. So they would try to be strict with me. And at this time, I was working, so I bought myself a TV, bought myself a stereo. Um, I had all my own music. I started buying movies. I had a VCR. I still have my VCR, and it still works. But I could watch whatever I want. I could, to an extent, as long as they weren't around. If my dad came around, I had to like maybe change the channel, or change the music, because if he heard a curse word, he would freak out, and he did that so many times. So, you know, I just had kind of freedom in that sense. I had freedom to listen to and watch whatever I wanted. So, and like I said, it really, really made me realize that I hated being told what to do. I learned later in life that I'm the type that you tell me what needs to be done and let me do it. Don't tell me what to do. Don't talk to me like I'm stupid. There's so many times where I just blew up because somebody talked to me like I was a stupid idiot. And I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I, I'm not I'm not the smartest person around, but I'm not a dummy. I am certainly not a dummy. So I know for a fact that that's where that trigger comes from, because the men have always been competitive. The men have always treated me like I was a dummy, especially if there was a woman around. It seemed like every job I had, if I'd work with guys and they'd be cool, but then if there was a woman around, they're gonna try to, you know, do the dance and show off their feathers louder than everybody else. And their way to do that is to talk down to everybody else, or talk down about everybody else. And that was frustrating and annoying. So, coming up in the next episode, I'm gonna do an episode on money, and then I'm gonna get back to my high school years. I have some more stuff I want to touch down on in my home life, but then I want to get back to some school life as well. And I will also tell the story on how I got the name Rico. So, let's give you something to look forward to. So, I'm going to conclude this video. I thank you for watching. I ask that you please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any comments, leave me a comment. I love comments. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again very soon for another episode of This is Rico, trying to heal my inner child.